So here I am again doing an unexpected part 4 to this series. Now, I'm gonna stop saying unexpected because I might actually keep this ongoing. But here's the thing: it's not gonna be a thing like how it is with my Sundown series, where it's a set day that I'm going to do it. Because with the Sundown series, I already have a list compiled of the towns that I'm talking about already, all the way to the very last town that I can talk about. And with this one, I actually would have to find something to speak on and then expound from that. So while the series seems like it's going to be an ongoing thing, it's not like I'm going to upload it like on a particular set day. Like, it's not like I'm going to do the videos how I did this week. That's only because this week I already had the 3 topics already in mind and I wanted to get them out there. So, with this, it's probably going to be maybe one a week, or whenever I'm feeling inspired to upload a video on this particular topic. But I am going to turn it into a series. It just won't have a set day of when the videos will be uploaded, like I do with my Sundown series, or even when I did my White History Month series a couple years ago, where that was an entire month every single day. So this past week that I did, that was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This one most likely won't go up on a Monday or Wednesday or Friday. It may not even go up this week, because I'm actually recording it on Friday the 17th. So depending on how the other videos fall, this could be the very last one that I upload in my roster of videos, because it's not a big important topic to speak on. But I just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there, so I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. It's not going to be like I'm uploading these particular videos on Monday and Wednesday and Friday. It might go up on a Tuesday or a Thursday. It might go up on a Saturday. So I hope I'm making sense of all of what I'm trying to tell you. But in this edition of the Are Women Allowed to Be Sexist series, now if you look at this picture right here, it's pretty much a collage that I typed in women in Hollywood into Google, and this is the picture that came up. So I said, let me just go ahead and just put it like this. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is a topic that many of us who are into film or, things like that have begun to notice, or have not so much begun to notice, but have been noticed when it comes to women in Hollywood, whether they are in front or behind the camera. And that's them pushing more women to be in leading roles, especially in a certain type of film, such as action, sci-fi, and everything like that. For years, we've always had very good leading female characters, heroines, and stuff like that, such as Lara Croft and Tomb Raider, which is like one of my top picks. You've had Ripley from Aliens. You had Sarah Connor in The Terminator. Who else? You've had plenty of leading female characters that were well written, and that's going to be the main focal point. They were well written, and they were well structured, and they had a good storyline. But lately, over the years, what they have done is they've managed to shoehorn a lot of Mary Sue type characters in, and then say that this is supposed to be women empowerment, such as Captain Marvel. I kind of touched on that in my first video. And then, of course, you had Rey from Star Wars and a host of other things. And what they'll do is they'll put those characters out there, and they'll have them be pretty much anti-male, and that just somehow passes the smell test for some people. I don't know how. And then they put them out there and expect people to go and see them. Now, I touched on this in a previous video, not Are Women Allowed to Be Sexist series video, but in a video I did last year with Elizabeth Banks. She's an actress, and she did that trash Charlie's Angels film. And when she made the movie flopped. We already knew it was going to flop just on lack of promotion alone. And she had the nerve to come out and say the reason the movie flopped is because men don't support women in action roles, which could not be a bigger lie if she reached for the stars, the moon, the Milky Way, anywhere outside of this planet. Men do support those type of roles, as long as they are well-written roles and they make sense. Like, why would you make a Charlie's Angels movie when a Charlie's Angels movie has already been made back in the early 2000s and had a sequel? So it was like you're making a remake of a remake of a remake. So that made no sense whatsoever. It was already done, and it was well written, because a lot of guys liked the original Charlie's Angels movie. I did. Back in 2000, when the first one came out, in 2003, when the second one came out, they had Bernie Mac as Bosley when he replaced Bill Murray. So when she said that, it was like, where was that coming from? Like, what were you doing? Like, why did you say that? You knew that movie was going to flop. You knew it was going to flop. And then they said that she was supposed to be doing something called The Invisible Woman. I'm like, they already got The Invisible Man. It's like, so they're continuing to give her opportunity after opportunity to keep messing up. I said she must be sleeping with somebody in order to keep this thing going. But I think they said that her husband or something like that is some kind of exec out there. So if that is true, then I guess that's why. Then you had that Harriet movie, which was utter trash. I tore that thing apart, a new one, in a live stream I did last year, and they had the nerve to create this character named Bigger Long, a big black boogeyman who was supposed to be a bounty hunter going after Harriet Tubman, who was supposed to be this. It's almost like he was a second overseer. Mind you, the character did not even exist in the Harriet Tubman storyline at all. So they just made up a big black boogeyman just to go with the narrative that black men are these big brutes that need to be brought to heel. You hear that? Hillary Clinton, Miss Super Predator. And then, fast forward a little bit to Birds of Prey, where it was pretty much an all-female led cast. It was pretty much helmed by women. And based on what I heard, it was pretty much anti-male the whole time. Not surprising there. And that movie too flopped. It got beat by Sonic the Hedgehog, which I'm glad it did, because Sonic was a better movie. And then I was watching a YouTuber recently where they were talking about how they're upset that this virus is going to put a dent into women-led roles for this year and things of that nature, because a lot of female-led films was coming out, like Mulan, Black Widow, and Wonder Woman, and A Quiet Place 2. Now, I did like A Quiet Place. That was a really good movie. But I can tell who wrote it. I can tell it was a staunch feminist that wrote that dumpster fire of an article. I'm like, either the movie's going to do well or it's not going to do well. Point blank, period. That's it. And another issue we have is when they replace a well-known male character with a woman. A lot of people had issue with the 007 situation. Now looking back at it, I see why people were upset. I hope that's not how it goes down in the film itself, and I hope that is going and taking a whole nother direction. But who knows exactly what they plan to do when it comes to that. But also another issue is, like, when you have a lot of these award shows and you have women winning awards, they may win for best actress and everything, like supporting actress, and then they always, they thank the usual people, and then they always cap it off with this: we need to support women, we need more women leading, we need more women behind the camera, we need more women in front of the camera. I was like, that's fine. If you want to have more women behind the camera, in front of the camera, fine, but you can do all of that and still give us a trash character with trash dialogue in a trash movie. And people will see that. And if they don't support it because of those reasons or more, then you have no one to blame but yourself. But see, what they'll do is they'll shift blame, and it'll always come back to the men, just like Elizabeth Banks did. Oh, men don't support women in action films. That's a lie. You just don't know how to write good female characters. Point blank, period. Why do you think Wonder Woman did so well? The movie was very good. The story was well written. Her character was well written. It was well directed and well shot, and it didn't make and she didn't try to bully the men that was in the movie. They actually played a pivotal role alongside her, even though she's pretty much godlike. And they could have went that route. I'm glad they didn't, because I was actually really interested in seeing that movie when it comes out, and I actually can't wait to see the next one. But see, like but see, they don't see it that way. And see, we are in a phase with their type of film. So like when we went through that phase of the whole ancient Egyptian films where they always had a palm-colored actor or actress playing those parts. Notice they don't really make those anymore because they finally got the hint that they were flopping. I think the last one that came out was that trash Gods of Egypt movie that came out in 2016, and I don't think they've made one since. And if they do make them, they're on a small screen where nobody cares to watch it. But right now we're going through a phase where they have all these heavy pro-women empowerment, pro-feminist talking points, pro-feminist narratives that are being shoved down our throats every chance they get. And as long as they continue to do and shove that, they will continue to flop. And I welcome the flop when it comes to that, because nobody's trying to see that. Like I said, we have no problem if you want a female-led film. We have no problem with that. But make it make sense. Don't bash the men or make them seem like they are all bad and everything like that. Now, if you have a male villain in there, that's one thing. But when you make all the side villains men and you don't even fight not one female, then that's why I like the movie Kill Bill. In that movie, all the adversaries that she fought or killed, they were all women who were on her strength level. Well, I guess you could say skill level because they were all trained by the same person. She was just a little bit more better. And when she did, and the only two men in that series that died, one of them got bit by a snake that she didn't even contribute to. And the other one, who she was going after, she did, what was that 3.5 point chest thrust? I forgot what it was called. It was an awesome move. I wish I could do that in real life. I wish that was a thing. I actually Googled to see if it was real, but they said it's not. But it may be a variation of it. And she did that little simple move on him and it killed him. And he died. But the thing is, when she was fighting pretty much all women through that entire series that were on her skill level. Now, the only time she was going against other men in a group was in the first one when she was fighting the Yakuza that was with her last adversary. But there was a mixed crowd. Now, a lot of people will say, how in the world did one woman was able to do all of that? It's because her skill level was better. But that still doesn't take away the fact that she pretty much fought mainly women through part 1 and part 2. Which is why I can appreciate the Kill Bill film. And then she had a mission. Her mission was to get to Bill. So, of course, she's going to fight like it was nothing. And even then, she even came through some near-death experiences. It's something that Kendra D always talks about. She says she doesn't like a Mary Sue because they don't go through the hero's journey. They don't go through anything. They don't face anything. They don't have an end game. They're just there to be there. That's why a lot of people don't like Captain Marvel. But if you have everything that I just said or I had a gripe about and you put it on men, you can best believe that Hollywood would turn upside down. I would too, because I don't want to see a man in that position either, where Kendrick refers to him as a Gary Stu, where he is basically the male version of a Mary Sue. I don't want to see that either, and you rarely see it. You rarely see it. So basically, all in all, to summarize this thing up, a lot of them want something and a lot of something for a whole lot of nothing. They're like, look, here's this character. We're going to put her out there. She's going to kick butt. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. And then she's going to stand and she's going to be the queen of the universe. She ain't have to go through nothing to get there. All she had to do was have a vagina. And they get mad when you point that out. And then wonder why no one supports their material. You want to know why a lot of people who went to go see Wonder Woman? Because there was a quote that the director put out there, who happens to be a woman. Her name is Patty Jenkins. And she says that this movie is made for everybody. Boys, girls, men, women, of all ages. And if y'all remember, I did a video about the first Wonder Woman before the movie came out, where you had these feminists who had basically got a private screening just for girls, just for women. as if men did not want to go see that movie. I will never forget that. They shut it down just so women could go in there. And I think a man tried to go there to see what would happen, and they basically turned him around. But then they have the nerve to talk about misogyny and misogynoir and toxic masculinity without checking their misandry and their toxic femininity at the door. I will never forget. You might be able to pull that article up now, like today. I'll never forget it. I'm not even making this up. They really did have private screening just for women to go to. That's now just imagine when Black Panther came out and they had private screenings and they only said no, only black people could come in. Oh, we would never hear the end of it. But guess what? They didn't. It was a mixed bag of people who went to go see that movie, even in private screenings. But when it came to Wonder Woman, it's only for girls. It's only for women. But when you look at those stats, those demographics, it was mainly men who went to go see it. It was a high percentage of women, of course, who went because it was DC's first female-led superhero film. As a matter of fact, I think she was the first overall female superhero-led film, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really count Elektra. But, yeah. Even with Birds of Prey, as much as it flopped, the demographics were mainly men who went to go see it. Why? Two things. One, most women don't like comic book films or anything superhero related. They'll just go because their man is going. And number two, most women, quiet as it's kept, don't like that feminist propaganda themselves. Some of them hate it more than the men, or just as much, or on the same level, but they'll never call them out. Elizabeth Banks will never call out the women that did not go and support that trash Charlie's Angels film because it was easier to go after the men. Because she knows who she's trying to cater to. If she went after the people that she's catering to, her career will probably be good as done. And for that, I don't think I can ever support anything else she ever does again. I liked her when I did watch, what was that movie? Brightburn. Anyone who's seen that movie knows how it ends with her character. But I don't think I can support anything else she ever does again, just off of that statement alone. It's our fault your movie flopped? Okay, fine. I guess it'll still be our fault when the rest of your movies flop then. Okay, fine. That's why you got to do it. You got to hit them where it hurts, hit them in them pockets. And then on top of that, speaking of movies, and I almost forgot this one, miniseries, that Madam C.J. Walker, someone asked me what did I think of it. I said I don't think of it because I didn't watch it. I had heard so many reviews about it. Everybody said the same thing. It was almost like I watched the movie myself and I've already made it up in my mind. I will not watch it. They took a pioneering black woman, a pioneer, a legend, and turned it into some feminist anti-male propaganda yet again. And surprise, surprise, the same woman who directed Harriet with that bigger long character was the same woman who directed this Madam C.J. Walker miniseries for Netflix. The same exact woman. Then on top of that, made one of her daughters, I think the one played by Tiffany Haddish, made her a lesbian when she wasn't even a lesbian. They said she had like how many husbands? Like 4 husbands? Listen, it's too much. It's entirely too much. But I think I've gotten out everything that I needed to say or make a point about it. But the fact of the matter is, again, are women allowed to be sexist? Yes, especially when it comes to the film industry as it stands today, because they get away with so much crap today with some of the stuff that they say, with some of the stuff, the material that they put in there that a man could never get away with, ever. He would have to walk on eggshells with everything he says and everything that he does. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video on this note right here. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I'll talk to you in the next one.